teaches you about making sure that you're not being cheated, making sure it's not a free workshop. You're actually getting paid and hotel bills and stuff. How did you learn all that at that young
So,
age?
so, you really just go with the flow. I'm being honest with you. Like
It's
when
great.
we're with, you learn by watching, you learn by listening, you learn by, looking, like just because it's the business part of it. Like I love to sing. I love music. I don't care
Yeah,
what kind of music it is. I even see myself if I'm like in an office space and they're playing music. I'm entertained. Everybody else might, still be, but as long as you have some music in there for
yeah,
me, you know what I'm saying? My toe is tapping or I'm doing something like I love music, So that's the love of it. It's the business part that you're never taught.
yeah,
And that's the sticky part. And that's the part that, if you don't love it enough,
yeah,
it will just poof, it'll be
yeah,
away because the business part is the ugly side of it. Unfortunately, everything that glitters is not always gold. And the one thing I say, the same thing that you say is when you're when you're a sports person or whatever. Now, to me, it's different when you are given a whole bunch of money. And if you choose to go and buy 80 houses and cars, and that's on you, right? That's on you. It's
yeah,
sad because there are a lot of athletes who may not have money after getting those major big deals. But 90% of Black artists, because I can only speak for myself, you're not giving nowhere near that kind of money, nowhere near that kind of a public. You're already in the negative starting. They
yeah,
don't even give you a head start. Like that's the only thing about I'm going to go from the Black music world that I take an issue with, because it's not even like after you're 3, 4, 5 albums in and you just want to, take a break or whatever you want to do, right?
yeah,
You're not offered any position on ESPN as a sportscaster. You're not offered any position coaching for that basketball team or for that college team. You have nothing. You're just left out there in the world, right? That's so not only do they suck the blood out of you, like you mentioned,
yeah,
which takes away the energy from what you're really, you have to go out there and perform every night. Where NBA players, they get the cool baths, they get the massages,
yeah,
whatever it is for them to perform at their best.
yeah, yeah,
They have it, correct?
yeah,
But as an artist, you don't have that protection. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody really there to protect you. You have to protect yourself. Because even monetarily, the only way you're really gonna make money is to keep doing shows and to keep writing and and to keep publishing this and to keep your record label interested. Now that's a whole nother thing, because if that last album wasn't number one like the album before,
yeah.
their interest is going down, down,
Wow.
down. You see what I'm saying? So, and what's going down with the interest is the budget, right? That maybe you got a big budget for the last album, but well, we got to go by what you did last
Yeah.
time. What about that? We got to go by how many records you sold the last time.
Hmm.
This is what artists face, and that's why I go back to what I said before. You have to love it, because the business part of it
Wow.
will leave you really so you don't have that where you're given $50 million for a 5-year deal. That's if artists had something like that, you can make an investment, you could do that,
Yeah.
you can live. So that
Yeah.
if you 5 albums down the road, if you're not number one, you're okay though.
Yeah.
That's not what Black artists are afforded. I mean,
In the midst of that, are you getting a job? Are you just doing a,
yeah.
okay.
Yep, I worked at the dermatologist office. I worked for Dr. Novick. He was like a big dermatologist. I was a secretary. I also got Sharice a job there on the side.
Wow.
Yeah, we did our little part-time work. We did that allowed us, that afforded us the opportunity to go and do studio time and demos, and and get on the train at night, and and we worked with Dinky Bingham from the Jamaica Boys. He actually helped us tremendously as well with, he was the first person that let us know there's a lot of beautiful women out there, whatever, but you guys need to write and and hone in on your stuff. And we sat there with him in the basement, and we learned to write music. As long as what do you want to talk about, and that's when you opened up your book and you started, because that's not something that you really did in high school, so you didn't do that for Sybil. You just sang. That's all we knew. We just knew to sing. But he brought that other element, which I'm so thankful for, where it's a business. You have things inside of you that you want to say. So you open up that book and you write it. And then for our very first album, we wrote maybe like 9 or 8 out of the 12 songs that were on it. And that was like not really normal for for you had big producers and writers that have to come and write, but we actually wrote for all of our albums. We wrote the majority of the songs on all of our albums. And people don't know that.
No, but what you're saying is really, really powerful. The fact that, because he could have taken advantage, and said, I'm going to write all this stuff. Did he teach you about publishing and what that means? Because that's where the money really is. Because then was telling me about
that's where the money is, and that's basically what he was telling us. There's beautiful women everywhere. There's a whole bunch of singers everywhere, but publishing is where it's at, and that's how you guys are going to be in control of what you do. So that was such an instrumental lesson for us to learn, and that I have now. And the more you write, the more you learn, the better you get. And nobody can take that away. So I'm just thankful. I'm just grateful to God, because you're right. Could have taken advantage. You could have, I'll write everything. I'll do this. No, we were there as a group, and we all worked together. And, he produced, wrote, we did harmonies. He helped us with harmonies. Wow. We've always done that in school, but just to get someone else's perspective, he's great, So that was just amazing. So I have to thank God that we don't have those kind of stories where people were just vultures. Because there are a lot of people out there that have horrible stories.
You should watch my interview with Tabitha from Cut Close. I mean, so we've and I'm glad, as I said, it was hard to be interviewing a lot of to hear these stuff. So I'm glad you brought a different side for us to see. Dinky Bingham, because I know he was. He used to be, was he not the drum tech guy? And he.
Yes. He's amazing. Just like a talent, just like unseen, So, and just under the radar. So yes, he's amazing.
So the work that you get, those things you wrote, and what he helped you produce, is what you took to get your deal.
Yes, absolutely, is what we took to get the deal. That's basically it. Yep, he was part of our demo team.
And then, so he's taught you about the publishing. You get that sorted out. Do you get the insight about, what points are, how much, and all that stuff?
No, we didn't get that far. But then we had a lesson, but that was like a short lesson with our attorneys at that point, because it was like, okay, here's the circle. Here's the circle, and you break the circle up, and this part is publishing, and this part, so it was more like with your attorneys before you signed. And your first deal, like most artists will tell you that you've probably already interviewed, is your worst deal. It's your worst deal. You're excited. You're young. You're like, oh, I got a record deal. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it is what it is. You're going to be taken in some form or fashion. I mean, am I right or wrong? We've heard the stories, but I'm happy that you said at least you had your publishing sorted out. Yeah. Well, yeah, we did. We were good on that. I don't, we probably could have gotten more or whatever. And
Everyone
I'm
would, yeah,
sure,
yeah,
I would have loved to have more.
yeah,
And looking back now, I'm grateful that you own your own publishing. Nobody's
yeah,
getting nothing from anything that you do. So I guess those are the bumps and bruises of learning in this
yeah.
industry, because I'm not, and I know that I'm not the only one, so
Okay. So then here we have 2000. You do your third album, and you're touring.
Mhm.
Music industry changes quite
Oh my
dramatically.
gosh,
I
yes,
mean,
yes.
because hip hop is becoming a lot more prominent, so the
Mhm.
radio is playing a lot more hip hop.
More hip hop.
Um,
And and the music industry is now, the chart is, instead of having a hip hop chart, is hip hop R&B.
yeah, yeah,
And then finally it's adult contemporary. So now R&B doesn't have its own chart anymore. It's hip hop R&B. So you see it gradually changing.
yeah,
First you had hip hop, now it's intertwined with hip hop. So that's making it smaller. Then it's okay, let's just take them all the way off and put them over here
yeah,
on adult contemporary. Which that stung, because now you're not only moving R&B artists, we deserve our own chart. Let's just keep it that way.
yeah,
But we never deserved the chart to be combined with hip hop. Hip hop deserves its own chart, don't you
yeah,
think?
yeah. No,
So
of
my
course.
thing is, everybody deserves their own chart. But then to take the R&B chart, and instead of just giving it back to R&B, you say adult contemporary. So now, what does that do?
Yeah, I mean, I always used to think of adult contemporary was, Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle, like, really, the legends, but that stuff that, you don't necessarily, you don't go out and buy, because, an 18-year-old college kid won't they don't think
Right,
they're an adult and stuff. So,
right.
yeah, and you don't really look at
So
that chart.
yeah, there you go. So now you're in a corner.
Yeah,
Now, as an R&B artist, you're put in a corner because your chart is adult contemporary, and you're nothing if you don't jump on a hip hop track with somebody and do a hook.
yeah, yeah,
See, that was that phase. That
yeah,
was that phase after 2003. It was, as an R&B artist, you had to jump on something and do a hook,
yeah,
because
yeah,
now hip hop is taking over. So
yeah.
there's no
And
real
the
room.
labels were merging, and
Yep.
there was no uniqueness. There was like, just, it was Sony BMG, it was Universal, and there was Warner, and it was like, okay, we're merging everyone else up, and just removing that identity and stuff. Did did you
Yep.
get support on that third album, or what was it like with the
That's
label?
what that was. The third album was our divorce, I would say, from the label. We were
So
no longer with Spoil Rotten.
what what difference did that make? Because I think Intro said the same thing. They
Mm-hmm.
left up.
Mm-hmm.
They went direct to Atlantic as well. But what difference did that make?
Now you're just a number. Okay, you come out first quarter, your second quarter, your third quarter, but you're assigned your A&R rep,
Okay.
and they oversee your project, and which we had a great A&R. We had Rich Christina. I wouldn't trade him in for the world, but it's still the bureaucracy. Like, it's still Atlantic Records. So no matter, it's like, okay, you're due out in May, you're here, it's and it's just not that same connect, that intimacy, like that, because now Atlantic is huge by now. You
Yeah.
have, God rest the dead, you had Aaliyah, you had Brandy, you have all, you have Timberland and everybody over. So it's like a lot going on.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
become like a little fish in a sea,
And they're competing against themselves, and they're not going to do that. And I think, are they not under Warner Brothers? Was that their parent company?
Yep, they're Warner Brothers,
So all
yes.
of a sudden, Warner is still saying that we don't want to
Yes.
compete against, and that's what happens when
Yes.
they brought all the labels together. It just meant that they just didn't have the opportunity to fight for one another. When everyone was
No.
separate, everyone was trying to fight for their own, but when they came under one roof,
that's it right there. When, yep, you're all merged in together, and it's no clarity, and it's no, and you feel like you said, you feel like you're fighting amongst people. We're all a label. I never understood why labels, if you have, I think it was LaFace that did that put everybody together, because LaFace was banging. They had everybody at that time. They had like Tony Braxton, TLC, you know, and
Usher,
if you Usher, you can put them all on a tour together. Like everybody could help each other, you know, instead of fighting against each other, or, you know, give this person more money than this person. You know, if you invested the time and energy in all your acts and put them out there together, to me, you know, one, even if one is, you know, selling more than the other, then the other is getting noticed, you know, like they're acquiring the attention of an audience that maybe didn't know about them. So to me, one could help the other, you know, and I just never understood that, because that's how it should be. You should if you're going to do a promo tour to help all the acts on your label.
So you guys in Intro or Brandy didn't do a collaboration in anything?
No.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I mean, and that's what some of the independent labels were doing back then, like Bad Boy or so, you know, No Limit. They were LaFace. They would say, look, we've got a brand. We want you to know about our artists and stuff. And I think
we would never know about Tony Braxton had she not been on Babyface.
Yeah.
We would never know about Snoop Dogg had he not been on Dr. Dre, right?
Yeah.
So it was the introduction, and it's that gets you. It's like, oh my God, who is this? Like when I heard Tony Braxton, like, who is she, right? Or when you saw Snoop Doggy Dogg, you know, you were like, what?
Yeah.
He is. So it's who you're being introduced by. So that's what I'm trying to say. I may have been listening to Dr. Dre, but had it not been for him shining the light on Snoop Dogg, I probably, you know, you wouldn't know. And that's the thing. You use what you have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.